a year and a half of sworn testimony, and after getting all of the testimony, they deleted it, and they destroyed almost everything. There's nothing left. It's unprecedented.
And they deny
If you
doing
do that in a civil case, you go to jail.
You know they deny doing that. And officials say that the order never came in for the National Guard.
A statement.
On January 6th, let me ask you this about January 6th. I think
Benny
you're going to want to
Thompson
answer
wrote in a statement that he has destroyed all evidence.
Let me ask you this about January 6th.
I wish you could be you have such potential. If you could be just non-biased, you hurt yourself so badly. I'm telling you, they deleted and destroyed all the evidence. Everyone knows it. And you slough it off like it doesn't mean anything.
No, I'm just saying they deny it. That's all I'm saying.
Kristen, if I did it, you would be standing up in that chair shouting at me. And you know what I'd do? I'd say, you got me. They have done something so illegal. They have a committee sworn to, and because it was so bad, the only reason they did it is because the testimony turned out to be in favor of me.
Boy, it's like one thing after the other. It's like the closer we get to January 20th, the worse that Biden seems to be doing. So he decided to honor the January 6th committee of Thompson and Cheney, and is getting lambasted online, right? And one of the reasons, as I showed you in the intro, is January 6th, they did a lot of fishy stuff, and to reward somebody, it seemed like a political favor. She lost her seat. She lost all credibility. She lost her standing. She endorsed Kamala Harris, still lost. All Liz Cheney has been doing is losing. And the fact that they sat up here and try to honor her, these rewards are not only meaningless, they are a trophy for complacency in a rotten system. And that's what I see the January 6th committee is, as a rotten system. It's so rotten, right? Because nothing they do gives me any kind of faith in any kind of investigation that they made, that the U.S. attorney behind January 6th prosecution is stepping down before Trump's inauguration. Nearly 600 Capitol riot defendants were charged under Matthew Graves' watch. The U.S. attorney who office spearheaded prosecution in the case related to the Capitol riot on January 6th, which the liberal media likes to categorize as an insurrection, even though no one was charged of an insurrection in the January 6th riot, that he will be stepping down before Trump returns to office. Graves dealt with all sorts of issues during his stint as a U.S. attorney, ranging from those focused on national security matters to cryptocurrency. However, it was his record with January 6th case that became a political lightning rod. The Department of Justice said that nearly 600 defendants had been charged, many of whom pleaded guilty or were found guilty, and 700 of them were sentenced to prison. Some have highly criticized Graves, including Andy Briggs, who responded to the U.S. attorney stepping down by saying the pawns at the helm of the DOJ targeting of Joe Biden's political opponents just resigned ahead of Trump's inauguration, and noting the swamp knows that justice is coming. And this is why, you heard rumors of Liz Cheney possibly getting a preemptive pardon from Biden. And everyone's like, yo, you had to do something that would warrant an investigation if Biden's considering giving you a preemptive pardon before any charges have actually been brought to Liz Cheney. And one of the problems that I find with Liz Cheney is the fact that she is accused of witness tampering with Alyssa Farah Griffin, who is the co-host of The View, trying to influence a witness to present information in a certain light so they can get Trump. And this goes all the way back to the perception of the DOJ being politically motivated and having these things happen. Biden rewarding her a medal, a U.S. attorney behind January 6th stepping down. It gives no boost of confidence to me that you guys did not do something nefarious with the January 6th prosecution. But before I go into, I want to show you this clip of them talking about Liz Cheney's possible investigation and why many believe it's warranted. Let's take a look.
They can't.
They're villains. Liz Cheney is the biggest villain in Republican circles there could possibly be.
Why? Because she's a
when the
traitor?
House of Representatives said no, because she was so hateful to Trump, and the voters of Wyoming booted her out, even though the Cheney family is one of the most powerful families in that state. But when the Republicans in Congress say she witness tampered, and then the press makes it out like this is some kind of revenge play, if Liz Cheney witness tampered, she deserves the FBI being all over her front lawn. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
And I think there's
I know,
enough
but what they're
evidence
calling,
to go in and investigate.
What they're calling witness tempering, I mean, I've only looked at what they're saying so far. Obviously, they haven't produced anything else. Not that that's some new standard. It's certainly not a legal standard of witness tampering. And there is no small irony.
Yes, it
that
is.
You're going to
It
go
violates
after
a
her
federal law.
for. Well, depends on what she did. And I don't know.
Look it up.
So far.
No.
Cuomo,
you're wrong.
I know what the law is.
And you're a lawyer.
I know I am. And I was damn good
if
with
she
it.
did
What I'm
it-
saying is,
If
we'll see.
if she did it,
We'll see.
if she
If
tried
she
to
did it.
convince Cassidy Hutchinson, yes. Oh, you give her due process, certainly. But if she tried to convince Cassidy Hutchinson, all right, behind closed doors, which is the allegation, to testify a certain way in front of the J6 committee, then this woman violated federal law, period.
That's
and
true,
the FBI
but that's
should
a big
be
if that
looking
they don't have
into
proof of.
that.
That's fine.
Well,
but
they gotta look
that's
into
not
it.
what I.
They got to
But
investigate
that's
it.
not what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to do a lot more than that.
And if you still are doubtful about how I'm seeing this, the January 6th stuff felt entirely made for TV, right? It felt like a highly productivized. They had a whole film company documenting everything. And one of the clips that I want to highlight is the entire made for TV, not even good, January 6th committee picked videos that supported their narratives, edited it, and hid the rest from the public. This is the biggest problem that I have with the J6 committee is because I think they call him the J6 shaman. I forgot his name. But he was trying to prove his innocence, and he kept asking, hey, there's footage of me just walking around. I did not break into the Capitol. I didn't trespass. Capitol Police let me into the building. I didn't trespass. I was invited in by the Capitol Police. And the J6 committee withhold evidence from him to prove his innocence. And then when Kevin McCarthy released the additional January 6th footage, you heard Democrats crying, no, they were screaming, they were doing all this stuff because all this was to support a narrative about January 6th. This is why I hold to this argument that January 6th was a riot. It wasn't insurrection because many of these people were prosecuted for trespassing and assault on police. But here's an example that I want to highlight to you, and it will go back to this idea that the DOJ was weaponized by Joe Biden, and now Democrats are mad that they might get a taste of their own medicine. But I digress. Let's get into the clip.
Senator Josh Hawley also had to flee. Earlier that afternoon, before the joint session started, he walked across the east front of the Capitol. As you can see in this photo, he raised his fist in solidarity with the protesters already amassing at the security gates. Later that day, Senator Hawley fled after those protesters he helped to rile up stormed the Capitol. See for yourself.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
This is when Tucker Carlson got his hand on January 6th. And this is one of the problems that I have with a lot of liberals is that they want to try to project a narrative. They try to project a perception about how you're supposed to see something. But then when you highlight things that's inconvenient to their narrative, they try to downplay it. They try to make fun of you. They try to mock you. They try to make you say, oh, you're so ignorant. You have zero understanding of what's actually going on. I know one damn thing. January 6th, y'all selectively allowed evidence to be shown to the public so that way you can control the public perception about January 6th. And this is why the January 6th stuff lost all kind of feeling. People are just like, yo, release these people already. You guys held them up enough already. You prosecuted them for 3 years already. Just drop it already. This is why public support for it keeps losing. This is why every time January 6th came around from the year 2021 all the way to 2024, These people keep bringing it up. Oh, the anniversary. They keep trying to remind people about it because no one cares anymore. And stuff like this doesn't help their credibility. When you see all these people leave in front of Josh Hawley, but you try to interpret the event as something else. Imagine. This is the people here. They showed a photo of Josh Hawley and said he was encouraging the crowd, which you never see, and then showed a clip of Josh Senator Hawley running from the chamber, insinuated that he was the only one running out. It got a big chuckle from the masked crowd. When the unedited video was released, it showed Josh Hawley running out after 30 or so others had ran out in front of him. Joke, Biden just rewarded medals to the 2 pieces of shiv that ran the propaganda investigation. The media will not show you this. We are the media. This is why many people rather go get their news from social media, because people believe it's more honest, which it is, in my estimation. It is more honest, right? When you have people in the DOJ employees leaked confidential information to hurt Trump ahead of the election, IG report. After one of the other senior officials used official DOJ social media accounts to repost links to the article after leaking the information to select journalists. Inspector General released a report on Monday revealing that 3 senior DOJ officials allegedly leaked information to the media in an attempt to damage Donald Trump before the 2024 election. Come on. You want me to trust this liberal? You want me to trust that the DOJ wasn't politically weaponized against Joe Biden's political rivals? You want me to trust everything that January 6th committee laid out when they're here deleting evidence, where a lot of these officials, people who head the Department of Education, the Department of Justice, the January 6th committee, are resigning, leaked information to hurt Trump for political reasons. Having Joe Biden as one of the last acts bestow a presidential medal on Liz Cheney shows so much about the value systems of the Democratic Party. But what Biden said about Cheney, an advocate still of countless views of liberal denounced as fascist, is even more telling. Throughout 2 decades in public services, including as a congresswoman for Wyoming and vice chair of the committee of the January 6th attack, Liz Cheney has raised her voice and reached across the aisle to defend our nation and ideals we stand for: freedom, dignity, and decency, the White House said. Her integrity and intrepidness reminds us all what is possible if we work together. This is a fluff job, bro. This is just like a pat on the back, like Joe Biden when he dropped out so he can have a good legacy, and they still blame him for why Kamala Harris lost. Make it make sense. But this is the party here. This is the people who said that they pretend that the DOJ wasn't biased. Let's take a look at Rachel Maddow. This is why MSNBC is losing viewership. This is why mainstream media is on life support right now in 2025.
Well, I think that if the Biden administration has weaponized the legal system of this country to only ever go after Republicans and conservatives and never go after Democrats, I think today proves that they're doing an absolutely terrible job of that. Boy, are they really falling down on the job, allowing the president's son not only to be prosecuted, but convicted, and then somehow manipulating President Joe Biden.
And then here's another thing, too. They got mad. This reports that Joe Biden got mad at Eric Gardner for not prosecuting Trump sooner or more aggressive. Right? There's reports of that. And we know hindsight is 2025 now. And we know that Biden already pardoned his son because he thought, hey, Democrats could win. I'm going to wait and then let them do it. Or I'll be safe, or my kid will be safe. We know that DOJ's released information. They're leaking information about Donald Trump. They did an unprecedented raid on his house for something that Joe Biden broke, Mike Pence broke, but you didn't raid their house for documents. And these 2 were vice presidents. Trump's the president. But y'all treated him worse than 2 vice presidents that took classified information with him out of the White House with him once his term served up. Y'all didn't prosecute Hillary Clinton. All this stuff, all these examples in your face. and they're sitting here in your face lying to you. I love how these clips exist for everyone at MSNBC and they just pretend that they don't exist. But their audience, remember, it's why left-wing news audience has dropped 50% since the election, right? Another one, New York Post. Biden insists he did not interact with Hunter and James' business partners, says Republicans got to stop. This is March 1st, 2024. December 27, before the end of the year, feds finally released photos showing then Vice President Biden meeting son Hunter's Chinese partners days before he leaves office. All there is hiding information. And this is one of the reasons why I don't trust the January 6th committee. This is one of the reasons why legacy media is melting down. Joe Rogan averages 11 million listeners per episode, 30 times CNN's primetime numbers. Meanwhile, the Washington Post lost $70 million in 2023, with 2024 looking worse. Why? Years of bias. Years of we're going to selectively cover things and selectively highlight things that bolster a narrative and worldview, just like the January 6th edited video of Josh Hawley running before the rioters came into the Capitol. Making a perception that, oh, he was running by himself before the stuff got worse. But he ran after 30 or so people came. Make it make sense. And leftists will say, when this is going back to the Tim Pool when he was debating Luke Beasley about January 6th and why these people should be prosecuted. We're like, yo, they've been prosecuted enough. Democrats are allowed to bail out their rioters. But for some reason, when Republicans want to bail out their rioters, you want to make it a problem. You want to make it an issue. Especially if we're saying we're doing it a step-by-step basis. You guys just blatantly, blanket, hey, let's blanket pardon these people. Let's blatantly bail out BLM rioters after they destroyed property, hurt people, assaulted people. We're just going to give here, get them out, bail them out. But Trump saying, okay, I'm gonna review each 1,600 of the defendants by case basis. But you got Joe Biden out here pardoning murderers and not a zip out of the left. But pardoning rioters is a problem. Nothing but politics. This is all it is. January 6th was nothing more than a political witch hunt to create this narrative of an insurrection. And then they're going to try to use these same false charges, these same false perception to say, oh, we don't want to certify the election to an insurrectionist. Just because you call someone an insurrectionist doesn't make them an insurrectionist. You actually have to prove that. Oh, he's an adjudicated insurrectionist. No, he wasn't. Y'all didn't convict him, so he's not an insurrectionist. So stop saying that. Constitution is a legal document. Did you legally convict Donald Trump of insurrection? No, you didn't. Were the January 6ers legally convicted for insurrection? No, there wasn't. They were convicted for trespassing, damage, assault. Those are the things that January 6ers were charged of, not an insurrection. Just because you call a dog's tail a leg doesn't mean the dog has 5 legs. A quote from Abraham Lincoln. Just because you believe something to be the case doesn't mean it is in reality. So it's going to be interesting to see Monday, January 6th, Monday, what the Democrats try to pull. But if their argument is, oh, Donald Trump's an insurrectionist, therefore we can't have him, you try that argument with the ballot. It didn't work. And you're going to try to do this with the certification of the election? Even though after, didn't you guys in 2021, y'all changed the statute for the vice president, so the vice president no longer had that power to actually go against the certification of the election? But, I digress. Typical Democrats. Y'all break precedent, and then you get mad that the precedent is used to stop you from doing what you want to do politically. But I digress. Liberals going to keep wishing online that somehow Trump is not going to be their president. Well, Trump's going to be your president for another 4 years. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear what you your thoughts on the fact that Liz Cheney is being honored by Biden with this presidential Freedom Medal, if I remember correctly. Cheney receives a participation trophy from Biden for leading a political witch hunt against President Trump and allegedly tampering with evidence, former White House official Mercedes Scaplet added. That's going to be Liz Cheney's legacy, huh? I never understood why people would turn down high honors and accolades. Now I do. Skeet Khan is getting a knighthood. Liz Cheney is getting the Presidential Citizen Medal. These awards are not only meaningless, they are trophies for complacency in a rotten system. This is repulsive. That investigation was done by a committee of all of whose members were chosen by Nancy Pelosi and was produced like a TV show. There was no cross-examination of witnesses. The media fell for it, but it was utterly one-sided. A show trial. Fox News, Brett Hume said. And that's a hard argument to really go against when only one political party, because I remember Kevin McCarthy was saying, hey, to give appearance of balance, you have to let me pick some of my people into the committee. They rejected that wholeheartedly. And this is what you got. Show trial. And that's what January 6th looked like to many people, a show trial. I think that's why it has no more impact past the year 2021. But I digress. You've seen enough. You heard enough. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.